Welcome to Football Scientific College Edition. Today we are breaking down the Sun Belt Conference. We're going to break down the two divisions, the East Division and the West Division with some power rankings. We're going to make some bold predictions. We're going to talk about the Sun Belt Conference, whoop whoop, or the Fun Belt, as it's otherwise known, early in the season on ESPN. They are the early season edition of the MAC. Okay, the MAC gets the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night games late in the season. The Fun Belt, aka the Sun Belt, gets the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games early in the season. Okay, so we're going to break down the Sun Belt Conference. I'm joined by my guest host, Tyler the Tiger. Tyler here, ready to talk about the Sun Belt Conference. Let's go, Fun Belt, Sun Belt, Fun Belt, Sun Belt, Fun Belt. It's just fun to say. I just enjoy saying it. Well, that's good, Tyler. All right, so let's break it down in big. The Sun Belt Conference, okay, the Fun Belt. First, when I look at this conference, I see two kinds of teams here, okay? I see teams that are new to the FBS level, using this as a launching pad to bigger and better things. Like Texas State, moving on to the Pac-12 after this year, okay? The Pac whatever. They're moving on, okay? I also see teams, that traditionally have struggled recently. Southern Miss is a team that used to be really good, is struggling. Marshall, really good, but struggling now. University of Louisiana Lafayette has been good recently. Louisiana Monroe has always been kind of an odd team, but has strong points in the Sun Belt. Western Kentucky, originally came into the Sun Belt from FCS. They launched into Conference USA. Okay, so I see these teams like Southern Alabama preparing themselves to jump into the higher level group of 6 conferences or trying to get into a Power 4, kind of like Pac-12 situation. And I also see teams that are new to the FBS, okay, that are trying to make their way into the FBS. And I see teams that are trying to reclaim their success from the past. Okay, a lot of these teams used to be Conference USA teams, but Conference USA got real weird. It got real weird, a lot of transitions. So a lot of these teams jumped to the Sun Belt, like Louisiana Tech is doing next year. We're going from the Conference USA to the Sun Belt, okay? Just because of the strength of competition. The way things are breaking down, we'll see how it goes, okay? All right, so there's 2 divisions of the Sun Belt Conference. As we go through this, let's talk about the Sun Belt East first, okay? My number 7 team in the Sun Belt East has been a team that comes from a strong recruiting area. They've had ups and downs. I think every Sun Belt team has had ups and downs, really. So Georgia State is my number 7 team in the East. I predict they're going to win 2 games in the Sun Belt Conference, 2-6. They'll go. Total record will be 4-8. The Panthers have a bunch of new players that have come into the recruiting class. So this is a good place, another good conference for high school recruits to find a spot while these upper teams are fighting for, no offense to Georgia State, those upper teams are fighting for transfer portal guys. Teams like Georgia State can clean up with the high school players and improve quickly with that, okay? But then you got to know your players are moving on. Big player for Georgia State will be wide receiver Jawan Robinson, who transferred to Georgia State. They also, unfortunately, lost quarterback Zach Gibson, who left. So that's kind of how it's going to be for Georgia State. Great high school recruiting. Boop. Occasionally, get like an FCS guy to transfer in. Boop. Jawan Robinson. And then you're going to lose some of your guys who outperform your level. They perform really well, so they move on to the Power 4, to a higher group of 6. Okay? Got it. So number 7 is Georgia State in the Sun Belt East. Sun Belt East number 6 is Marshall, the Thundering Herd, who at times have been very, very good. Very, very good. This is not one of those times. Right now I have the Marshall, I'm going 3-5 in the Sun Belt, 6-6 overall. Why? What made them dip? Well, Charles Huff, their head coach, left. Marshall moved to Southern Miss and took dozens of players with him. A lot of the top playmakers went with Charles Huff to Southern Miss. So much so Marshall couldn't play in their bowl game last year, couldn't play in the Liberty Bowl because they were too low on players. and they transferred out, so they've been hit hard. They do have a new quarterback, Carlos Del Rio Williams. Okay. They've lost a lot of their playmakers. They're going to have to rebuild. They have, in response, transferred a bunch of people in. So I suspect they'll have chemistry issues. They could end up being pretty good. Okay. I suspect they'll be 6-6, have a chance for a bowl game. But they'll be 3-5 in the conference. Okay. Right now, I got Georgia State at 17.5% chance of making a bowl. I got Marshall at 50.5, so they got a chance. Okay. Next. Sun Belt East, number 5, Coastal Carolina. Okay, the Chanticleers. Got it. Boom. How do I see them? They've been really good at times. They go with their transfers, okay? So they transferred in a quarterback, MJ Morris. They lost some guys who moved on. Okay, they're an option-style team. A lot of teams in the Sun Belt are gun option style teams, okay? And they're going to live off RPOs and play action. Very similar to the MAC conference. Coastal Carolina is one of those option teams, okay? They lost a couple good defenders, man. They lost good defenders to the higher level, to the upper group of 6, power 4 types. They moved some guys in. They got a quarterback. You got a chance at Coastal Carolina. I say they go 4-4 in the Sun Belt Conference, 5-7 overall, and miss a bowl game this year. Okay. Sun Belt East, I got Appalachian State Mountaineers. Yes, Appalachian State is a traditional power in the Sun Belt, but I think they're having a down year. They've lost a lot of people. They do have a quarterback, A.J. Swan, that steps in from a power 4 level. He's coming down to Appalachian State to prove himself. Very similar like Southern Miss comes to Summit to prove themselves. Okay, to show they deserve something better in the future. Their depth chart is full of people who left. Okay, people who left and now replacements. So they have a lot of roster turnover. Appalachian State tends to be a good team, but they're having a lot of roster turnover as people move around. They get a new quarterback. I suspect they'll be competitive. I got Appalachian State going 4-4 in the Sun Belt Conference, which is a bad year for them. Total, I got them going. We got 6-6. Okay, 6-6, 53.2% chance of making a bowl. We'll see about the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Not their best year. Okay, Sun Belt Conference East, number 3, Old Dominion University, the Monarchs. Okay, they're a relatively new FBS team. They were FCS. They've been generally high scoring. They have wide receiver Ja'Cory Thomas there. They have an all-star linebacker, Jason Hendrickson. He's there. He's coming back. He had an injury last year, so they did have a dip, but he's back, healthy. They're coming to look out. They have an explosive offense. They have a solid defense. They did lose a defender. Defensive back Rashid Reason moved on, okay? So they're in flux a little bit, but they're stable for the most part. Explosive offense, solid defense. I said they go 5-3 in the Sun Belt Conference, 6-6 overall, 62.4% chance of making a bowl. I think they'll be a pretty good team in the Sun Belt. Okay, next we got Sun Belt East, number 2, Georgia Southern Eagles. The Georgia Southern University Eagles, if you don't know anything about them, they have won multiple national championships at FCS level. They used, very similar to Appalachian State, they were once the kings of the FCS level, but they moved up to make some money, guys. That's why they moved up, to get some money, all right? So, what's true about them? Well, you got another option-style team here. Clay Helton's there. For the first time in Clay Helton's existence at Georgia Southern, he gets to retain a quarterback. Quarterback J.C. French the fourth is coming back for a second year. It's the first time a Georgia Southern quarterback has done that for Clay Helton. So French must be enjoying the coaching, okay? Boom. They have linebacker Brendan Harrington. They have left tackle Marquise Watson. They have a lot of players coming back at key positions, okay? So they have a quarterback that's coming back. Boom. They got linebackers coming back. Boom. They got a left tackle that's coming back, ready to go, okay? So that means they're going to be pretty good. They're going to be pretty good, okay? The option offense will be explosive. I got them going 5-3 in the Sun Belt Conference, 7-5 overall, 72.7% chance to make a bowl. Okay, I think they'll have a pretty good season, a winning record overall, which gives you a lot of good bowl opportunities. Okay, in the Sun Belt East, number 1 spot, I got James Madison University Dukes. They are a hot team. Okay, they came recently as a national champion at FCS level. They jumped in. They immediately won out of the gate. They continue to be good, even without Kurt Signetti there. For their games, they have a quarterback, Matthew Sluka. They have a wide receiver, Nick Gennaro, that are giving them good offensive depth. They gained those guys this offseason. They have DN Xavier Holmes. They have a great wide receiver that has left. They lost wide receiver, but they replaced him with Nick Gennaro. Okay, they're a solid program, explosive offense, great defense. Okay, for the Sun Belt, they have a great defense. I expect they'll win the Sun Belt East, okay, with a 6-2 Sun Belt record, 8-4 overall, and they'll make it to the Sun Belt championship game. Boop. Now we look at the Sun Belt West. At number 7 in the Sun Belt, it hurts my heart. I really like the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. I always enjoyed them in conference. Say they were the giant killers. Brett Favre being there and stuff, but they are in transition now. They have Marshall's head coach and most of Marshall's team. So I expect them to start amping it up on offense. Maybe not play a ton of defense. They will pressure the quarterback, and that's what you got to do to win in the Sun Belt. You got to pressure quarterbacks. You got to stop option games, okay? Kind of like the old school Big 12, Big 8. You got to come out and stop. Everyone's running the option of some sort. You got to be able to come stop the option. Got to play sound defense, okay? They do have a quarterback, Josh Moten. Their head coach left, took a bunch of players, so they got to replace all those players. No. That was Marshall. Charles Huff came to Southern Miss, added all the players, but they have over 40 new people as players and a new coaching staff. Quarterback Josh Moten is there, okay? I got them having a tough transition year, but being much better next year. And the Sun Belt Conference, I have them going 3-5, overall 5-7. I got them a 40.9% chance of making a bowl. Now they have a chance. It's pretty good, okay? Sun Belt Conference West, number 6. We got Louisiana Monroe, the Warhawks. Okay, Louisiana Monroe. They've had their ups and downs, more downs than ups, but they've had a few ups recently, okay? For their games, they have added 2 pass rushers. Defensive end Billy Pola and defensive end Keontae Wells. That should be good for stopping the option and shutting these teams down. They added running back Zach Roger Smith, okay? But they lost a really good running back. So they kind of traded out there. They were pretty average last year. They lost their top running back. They got some pass rushers, but not much for a secondary. I suspect they'll have a rough run this year. I got Louisiana Monroe, the Warhawks, going 3-5 in the Sun Belt Conference and 5-7 overall and missing a bowl game. I gave them a 35% chance of making a bowl game. Okay, Sun Belt Conference in the West, number 5, Arkansas State. I've seen people, there's a lot of difference of opinion. I've seen people favor Arkansas State and Butch Jones to win the Sun Belt West and win the Sun Belt Conference, okay? I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. They do have quarterback Jacob Rayner, wide receiver Corey Rucker. They gained a defensive back, A.J. McGee, okay? But they lost some players like everyone does in the Sun Belt. Butch Jones just doesn't convince me he's a great coach. He was pretty good at Cincinnati, went to Tennessee, belly flopped, and then he's at Arkansas State. Put together a competitive team, but I don't see him being the best team in the Sun Belt, and some people do. I see Arkansas State Red Wolves, going 4-4 in the Sun Belt Conference, 5-7 overall, 46.2% chance to make a bowl game. They're going to be a relatively average team. Okay, Sun Belt Conference West, number 4, the Troy University Trojans. Okay, traditional power in the Sun Belt. But they're up and down based on the flow of players. So let's take a look at them. They added quarterback Goose Goose Crowley, who had messed with a head injury last year. He's back. He's fired up. He's ready to go. Running back Trey Cooley is there, pounding the rock. They lost running back Damian Taylor, but they replaced him with Trey Cooley, so they're looking to compound the rock. Okay, traditionally Troy will come out and beat the bad teams and beat a few good teams too. Okay, they're dangerous. Troy's usually a dangerous area. They're in a high recruiting area in Alabama there. Southern Alabama's a good place to recruit. They'll be competitive. They'll be scary. Notice there are not a lot of bad teams in the Sun Belt Conference. Why? Because they all come from areas that are loaded recruiting-wise. And if they just pick up the high school guys, they don't get picked up by the big boys, they're pretty good. They're going to be pretty good. Troy's going to be pretty good. I got them going 4-4 in the Sun Belt Conference. I got them going 6-6 overall, 55% chance to make a bowl game. They're going to be pretty good. Okay? I expect a lot of RPOs and screens out of them, maybe some vertical pass. They like to pass more than the others. Okay, next, Sun Belt Conference West number 3, University of South Alabama, the Jaguars. Okay, we got them coming out. They got a new cornerback, Ricky Pletcher. They got a wide receiver, Brandon Jenkins. They lost their quarterback. They lost their running back. So they added some support players, wide receiver, cornerback, but they're going to adapt to a new quarterback, new running back. They're usually pretty good down there in Mobile. Once again, talent-rich area. If you can just get half the high school kids out of there, you're playing good football. If you get the pieces Alabama and Auburn don't get, you're playing good football from the Mobile area, okay, and northern Florida there. It's a talent-rich area. But I see when you lose a quarterback and a running back and you didn't replace them directly with transfers, I don't see them having a great year. I see them having a slightly above average year. They're still going to be talented. I got University of South Alabama, the Jaguars, going 5-3 in the Sun Belt Conference and total 6-6, 64.9% chance to make a bowl game. They'll be a contender, but I think they'll lose the big games. Okay. Sun Belt Conference West number 2, a team that's playing their last year in the Sun Belt is Texas State Bobcats. You would think if they're going to the Pac-12 and they want to be taken seriously, they need to play well in the Sun Belt Conference. But the Sun Belt Conference is harder than when you would think. That's why it's the Fun Belt. It's balanced. As you can see, most of these teams have the same record I'm calling out. It's balanced. It's rough. Okay? You got a bunch of teams that can win football games here. How do you figure it out? Well, they play the games. They play the games, how they figure it out. Turnovers, stuff like that, okay? Texas State Bobcats playing the last year in the Sun Belt Conference. They gained 3 transfers at quarterback. They're loaded at quarterback, including Nate Yarrell, okay? They're loaded at quarterback. That's hopefully looking to the Pac-12. Probably when they got, added to the Pac-12, quarterbacks started flowing in, looking for opportunities to make them great, okay? Traditionally an option team. Good option team. That fits well to the Sun Belt. No, that fits into the Pac-12, but it fits well into the Sun Belt. Good option teams, okay. Boo. They lost their top running back, an all-star, all-Sun Belt guy, running back Ishmael. Okay. They didn't really replace him, but they got a bunch of quarterbacks. I see them passing the ball more honestly. They are traditionally an option team, and I think with their losses, that wouldn't be wise, okay? Is their new head coach, do they have a new head coach? Whoever's taking it to the Pac-12 needs to realize, bruh, we're not going to win in the Pac-12 with the option game. You're not. Things are too fast. Okay? Boo. Sun Belt Conference West number 1. I got University of Louisiana Lafayette. They just want to be called University of Louisiana. They're the Raging Cajuns. Okay? Billy Napier came from there. He's at Florida getting whooped. Probably wish to be back at Lafayette, winning games again. Okay. Boom. They gained quarterback Walter Howard. He's coming back from an injury. They have all new defensive backs and linebackers, okay? Now, these are upgrades at linebacker and defensive backs from the FCS level. Quarterback coming back, they should be sound on offense. I got them going 5-3 in the Sun Belt Conference and 7-5 overall. Going 79.8% chance to make a bowl game, going 7-5 as their overall record. That leaves us with University of Louisiana, Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns, and James Madison in the Sun Belt Championship game. Generally, the Sun Belt East teams they invest more in football than the West teams. The West teams are looking for more geographical rivalries. So I got James Madison winning that game big. I got James Madison whooping University of Louisiana, Lafayette. But they'll both be in bowl games, okay? So what bowl games? Well, the Sun Belt Conference they have 5 direct ties to their conference. They can also get teams picked up. You have a lot of 6 and 6 teams in there. It can be picked up by these bowls that can't get enough teams, or people get kicked out for grades like Akron or whatever. These teams can step in and with that 6 and 6 record and play in that. But there's 5 guaranteed bowl games. First one's New Orleans Bowl. Okay, we're gonna play a Conference USA team. I got James Madison going to that. It'd be popular to put Louisiana Lafayette, but I think I'd rather see James Madison go there, especially as a champion. And I think they're going to put a whooping on any Conference USA team they face, okay? They will not be facing Liberty. Liberty should be in the Bahamas Bowl, okay? All right, Lending Tree Bowl. I got Louisiana Lafayette going there, the Raging Cajuns, to go put up a pretty good fight but lose. So I got James Madison winning the New Orleans Bowl. Boop. I got Louisiana Lafayette losing the Lending Tree Bowl. Boop. Okay. I got in the Camellia Bowl. I think Camellia Bowl is down by Tampa Bay. They would really love to have South Alabama there, I think. You're going to get a lot of people there from South Alabama, like when they had South Florida there at the Camellia Bowl. South Alabama is a great fit, okay? Great fit, geographically. I think South Alabama will show up and they'll get beat. Boom, they get beat by a MAC or Conference USA team. People think the Sun Belt's better than Conference USA and the MAC. I just don't see it. I see there's a lot more developmental programs. The Cure Bowl in Charlotte. We got Texas. I got Texas State Bobcats going to that, squeezing in a bowl game, trying to win a bowl game on their way out to the Pac-12, and I got them winning that bowl game. Boop. So I got 2-2 in the bowls right now. And then in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Georgia Southern is a great fit. They're down by Savannah, Statesboro, Georgia. Myrtle Beach isn't that far. You get a lot of fans. You get a big turnout. It's going to help that bowl succeed in terms financially and stuff. So I got Georgia Southern going to the Myrtle Beach Bowl and winning that thing. Boop, 3-2. 3-2 in bowls. That's pretty solid. Pretty solid conference, okay? Fun little conference there. Sun Belt Conference, the Fun Belt. We'll see them early in the season on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights on ESPN. That's their contract. Throwing some entertaining games together. Tyler, what do you think about those rankings? I think James Madison's going to win it all in the Sun Belt. I think the Raging Cajuns, you can't pick up Cajun. I saw someone said Arkansas State Red Wolves are going to win the West. Do you think that's true? I don't think that's true. I think Butch Jones can't do it. I think they lost too much. Well, I guess we'll see what happens next in the Sun Belt. I guess we're going for James Madison? Yeah, we're going for James Madison. The Dukes. Okay, that's good. Go Dukes. Okay, so we're going to continue breaking down college teams, a couple every week. School starts at the end of next week, so I probably got to get a few more done here before too long. Boom. We have the Sun Belt Conference. We have talked about the MAC previously. Boop. We have talked about the Conference USA previously. Boop. And now we'll talk about, the next time we have a college show, we'll talk about the American Conference. They don't want to be called the American Athletic Conference anymore. They want to be called the American Conference. So, American Conference, boop. Okay, leading us, we're getting closer to Power 4 schools. We're getting to the group of 5, group of 6 now. Okay, working our way through it. That is our college show today. Remember, check out NFL articles on footballanalysis1.com, CFL articles on CFLnewshub.com. Check out Football Scientific. Subscribe to us if you want to hear more college information. I'm kind of being quick with these breakdowns, sharing information. Don't want to bore people going through all the college football. There's a lot to go through. Could go through. I'm not a college football specialist, although I have more experience there than others as a player and a coach. Okay, but as a observer, I'm kind of new to the college game. Okay, as a professional observer, aka making a video about it. So If you want to see more content about the Sun Belt, let me know. Otherwise, we'll move on to the American Conference very soon, okay? The football sign-up portal is now closed. Bye-bye.